there's so many elements to being this new version of yourself, and money is such a small aspect of it. But that when people focus on money, they're focused on an outcome and they're focused on the side effect. The cause of the money is the value. And when you add enough value, people will be wanting to give you their money. People will want to be joining a program you're doing. They will ask you. You won't have to like promote it as much, you know? So it's like having more of a balance of just how you're showing up in the world and choosing to live by values of authenticity, vulnerability, not because it's going to get you the clients, it's because it's who you choose to be. And funny enough, when you're not attached to the outcome, it comes. You're in an abundant state. You're in an abundant energy where you don't have to like pitch as much. Do you know what I mean? It's like kind of really looking at it in that way has changed a lot for me, at least. It's just having that intention of adding value, of being of service to other people, being authentic, being vulnerable. It's a big part of my channel has grown because of being vulnerable and sharing things that most YouTubers or people wouldn't share.
Like what? Like what's something that you think they wouldn't share that you've shared?
Like for example, in this podcast, I, in the beginning, was really focused on getting views and wanted that gold play button. Yeah. I really felt like I wasn't good enough. Even on my Instagram story this morning, I talk about, for so long, it was like I have this work, I've been like not a workhorse, but I work really hard. And I've become aware that because in childhood I was controlled, when my ex-stepmom left my life and I was attracting people that reflected that energy, when I finally cut all that energy out and forgave my ex-stepmom, which is kind of what caused the energy to go away, I became the control in my life. I became the person that was very hard on myself. I felt like you're, kind of like talking to myself in a way where it's like, it's not enough. It's not enough. Make more videos, do more, do more, do more. And I've realized that a lot of that work hard mentality, I have sometimes a challenge just chilling out, just going and like doing things without having, and like most of my friends are people that are like, I talk business with, stuff like that. And there's a part of myself that sometimes feels like I don't have as much fun as I could. And my fear is that in 10 years from now, I'm going to be on the perceived mountaintop of whatever my ego desires, but then I'm going to feel like I didn't enjoy it as much along the way. So even just sharing that, for example, there's a vulnerable human aspect of it where people could listen to that, and some people wouldn't share that. They're like, well, I'm just going to go after what I'm going to go for, or they'll show the best parts of themselves on social media or Instagram, and it's like I'm aware, and I'm not doing it to get a different result. This is just what's real. And I just know that this is what's authentic for me in the moment, you know?
Man, I was 4 or 5 years ago, I was you brought this story out of me. This is why I love podcasting, because I haven't thought about this in like 5 years. Tom Bilyeu, he sold Quest, he sold Quest Nutrition, and he was at his house. It was for this Modius device that was going to help people lose weight. I don't know what happened to the device, whatever. I went there for like a little gathering. And actually we did a podcast like maybe a couple weeks later, and he said, yeah, when I got the check from Quest, I think it was like a 10-figure check, some enormous amount of money. And he said, I saw it in my bank account and I felt fucking the same as I did 5 minutes before. Yeah. I didn't actually feel any more excited because I already knew it was going to be there. And it didn't make my life this like different thing because he had become the type of person that already knew it was there. I've heard Lewis Howes say this as well. Like he already knew that he was going to be a best-selling author. So when he grabbed the book at the bookstore, it wasn't like a thing for him. He didn't get joy and excitement. How do we build our life as creators? Whether it's a $50,000 a year creator or a $50 million a year as creators. And I'm asking you this because you shared vulnerably, right? Where you're at in your own consciousness development. How do you see this playing out for you, for all of us, where we're not just chasing the stick, where we work hard, we're of value, we're in the frequency and vibration of being of service, doing something that we love, and we're designing a life to where we can climb as many mountains as possible. And every time we get to the top of one, it is exciting. Yeah. And we look forward to the next mountain. Is that too pie in the sky or what? What do you think about that?
I think that the key is in the present moment right now, choosing the lifestyle and living it now, because it's not like once you get some external result, you're then going to be able to feel it more. So for me, when I talk about, I'm aware that, if I were to have 5 million followers on YouTube instead of whatever I have, like that would feel way more worthy. It's like, I'm going to live the same way I would live then now. So it's more so about figuring out, once you buy your time back, I'd say, obviously, if you're working a 9-to-5 job you hate, the first goal would be to like do what you love and to have an intent for that reality, to tend to become that version of yourself. But once you have that, it's then, how can I do only what I love in the way in which I love doing it? So for example, for me, making videos the way I've always made them, some of it's felt stagnant and it's not doing as well as it used to because I'm not as passionate about it as I used to be. Now, what I did recently is I did those live events. Those live events that I did, I recorded the live events and took clips of it and put it on my Instagram, put it on different like IG Reels and stuff like that. Within 1 week, like a couple weeks ago, like a month and a half ago probably, I was like, I'm going to put a video out every single day on Instagram for like a couple weeks, right? I did that. Third or fourth video in, I had a clip from that live event that I did get I think it's got 4 point something million views. And it grew my Instagram account by 100,000 followers from committing to just putting out content that I was passionate about, but when I was in a certain frequency. So the reason I share that, because I'm gonna say, oh, look at me, I got I grew by this much or whatever.
I mean, it is pretty cool too.
But it's the thing that's cool about it, in my opinion, is when I'm in the state of being on stage, I'm in a different energy and I have a different passion that then is also reflective as a content creator in my audience, because they tune to it differently because I'm in a different state. One thing I've always lived by is people feel what you feel. So now the question is, okay, and even when doing this podcast right now with you, there's a lot more energy that gets like sparked up for me when I have someone like you that I'm connecting with and we have this information being pulled out of me. It's much different than if I'm just sitting in front of my camera trying to come up with a video. So now what I'm paying attention to as a creator is, when am I in these states more often? Because these states are, when I feel elevated, people watching it will feel more elevated. If I'm making a video I feel like I have to make because this is who I am and it's what I've always done, they're going to feel that I'm just having to make the video.
Yes.
So as a creator, I think the important thing to remember is, as you grow and as you get more of your information out there, or you're having more impact, there can be this thing that you've created that you then put pressure on yourself to continue to create in the same way because it's always worked.
Check out some of the videos on this screen that are perfectly curated based on the video you just saw. Make sure you follow me, and I'll see you in the next video.